And now we get personal. This is the personal vlog. This is where I talk about personal things. I don't really have that much to talk about real quick, but what I am going to do is I'm going to put the camera on the front of the car. I'm going to point it out the dash. I'm going to put the GoPro up. And we're going to do as I drive down this little mountain area. Because it's a neat drive. And I think it'll put me back out in the little tiny city. The small town that was there. And I go right down Main Street. And they had it all dressed up for Christmas. And it looked cute. Now, is it still going to look like that in the day? I don't know. When I drove through, it was 5 a.m. and the lights were all on. You could see them. So, I don't know. We'll see. But I do have one errand to run on the way home. You're not going to come all the way with me for that. But I can tell you a little bit about something here that I'm getting out of my bag. For several years now, my father, my dad, my daddy, my papa, my dad. I don't know, just use the one that doesn't seem weird. For my birthday and for Christmas, I receive a card from him. And usually it has cash in it. And I don't... For 5 years now, maybe? I receive a card for my birthday, for Christmas. And his significant other send me a card for my birthday or Christmas with cash. I don't have a use for the cash much anymore because I don't spend. It's still money. I'm not saying for a while there, like in Wyoming, there was no access to a bank at all. The bank that we had just did not exist in the small city that we were in. So I just let it build. That's what I'm getting to here. I just have cash that I have saved, and I usually carry a bit of it with me as extra, just in case money. I specifically put it in my wildlife bag whenever I'm going out, just in case. What if I get into a situation where, like, years and years ago back in Georgia, it actually came in handy because I had gone to a state park, and I did not have a state park pass, and I did not realize the entire thing. And that actually turned out to... I spent the money, I paid the cash to get in. And I went, this will be great. Not realizing the day that I went was the day of some big running marathon thing where people went... There were like 1,000 people there to run around the lake. And I was determined. I was like, well, I paid $7 or whatever, $10 to get in here. I'm going to take some wildlife photos. There's nothing. I just wound up sitting and watching for a long time. It's just dozens of people went past. Anyway, so for several years now, I've been saving cash. Anytime they send me cash for Christmas and birthday, I just set it aside. I haven't had a use for it, haven't had a need for it. We've got like $400. Finally, it's gotten to the point where it's large enough that I got it in. I was like, all right, well, I'm kind of itching for it, to spend the money as it is, to get something. I'm always wanting things. I never have money for the things, but I finally have enough now to the point where I could spend it in some way. I've just been saying, this is several years worth. I'm trying to think of how far back it goes. Probably 5, 6, 7 years. I don't know. I've never kept count of anything like that. I typically don't have to dip into it for any reason. Because I just don't need cash. I don't go out and spend money in person much anymore, like at all. And I don't spend cash online. So it brings me to today. Am I going shopping? No, I'm going by the bank. We finally live in a populated area where I have a bank location and I can go make a deposit at an ATM. Haven't had that since Georgia. So it's been more than 3 years specifically. And I just always have some backup cash. I'm not going to deposit everything, but enough. And I'm going to get a thing. I've already ordered it. It's coming in the mail today, but because it went on a credit card, I don't know that money until next month. So and I'm out anyway, and I'm going to do it. It is a thing to help me edit. And I'm going to talk and drive now because I'm cold and I need the heat going. Oh boy. Get going here. Yeah, we want some heat because it is cold out. I'm going to move the mic. I apologize. It's another thing that's coming today is a new mic, but that's different. Oh, come off of there. Sorry. That was a terrible noise because it slipped. I just need to move it off and put it on here. Okay, there we go. We're there. Everything's going. There's really only one direction to go. Can you pull up my map, please? Thank you. 4-wheel drive. I'm sure I can back out in this little bit of snow. Yeah, there we go. Just always have that thought whenever there's a bit of snow and ice. Let's get this going, because I think it'll be a pretty drive, and it'll be prettier than I am. Anyway, there we go, right up in front. Right in the front of the rock that I parked at. And away we go. I can't really drive with these big gloves on. There we go. A little cold. What was I talking about? Yes, I'm going to deposit the stuff. For a while now, for a good while, basically, my work history, I worked minimum wage, I worked slightly above minimum wage, I went overnight to get an extra $1. Anyway, after that point, I think is when I really started this practice, because I actually had a bit of money, but I was so used to paycheck to paycheck, which, to be fair, I still am, but paycheck to paycheck in a way of like down to pennies, not having anything left over, zero. At this point now, it's kind of paycheck to paycheck, but I also have a savings account that I regularly deposit into out of every check. But anyway, money is a theme throughout everything I've always done. It always will be, because it is, unfortunately, the root of all evil, and also the cause of so much of my joy. And anyway, for a while there, once I started making several dollars above minimum wage, I actually had some money left over each month. I could pay my bills, and I had a little left over. And I started, when I did that, I started having the same mentality. I realized, here's what will help me in this, so I don't go overboard. They call it what, lifestyle creep. You start having a bit more money, and then you could think you can spend more money, and then you never wind up actually having any left over extra. You're always hurting for money. That's a thing. And I knew that was a thing, so I keep myself, I still try to be very frugal about purchases, certain things, and I don't buy clothes very often, but I buy cameras more often, like that kind of thing, where the money's directed, right? And so for years and years and years now, I would have the mentality of, I don't have any money. And I would say that, I just don't have money. And it's not true. It's not like my bank account's zero. It's not like I'm hurting in that way where I have absolutely nothing and I'm, completely broke. I'm going to need my sunglasses. The sun just popped out as I drove around the mountain. Where are they? Trying to feel. So that has maintained for probably more than 10 years that I just have no money. And that's why throughout the last 3+ years of making video stuff, you'll probably hear me say many a time, I don't have money. It's not because I'm literally broke or down to the last dollar or anything. It's just the mentality that I have is that I don't have any additional money to put towards frivolous or unnecessary purchases. I don't go hungry. I have money for that. I can spread it around in different ways. I'm able to purchase all the necessities that I need. It's just extra. I don't have any extra. And so I don't currently have any extra. That's what we did Christmas this year. I did, we did our Secret Santa exchange, which was really helpful because I have a large number of siblings, family, and everything, and getting everyone a gift. I think we've got a much better strategy now with this one because there are like 6 of us, and if we do a Secret Santa type situation, then I'm not having to buy gifts for all of them, and then spending a nice amount on my significant other and the whole thing there. So yeah, realistically, that's what it is. So I budgeted for that. I had that. I used the very last of my I got like, if you've listened to a while, for, whenever I talk about money and stuff like that, or I make purchases that are frivolous or unnecessary, it's typically, you'll hear me talk about a 5 paycheck month, because I get paid every week. When there are 5 Fridays in a week, I get a 5th paycheck, and that it manages to work out a couple times a year, to the point where it is just extra in towards, like, my monthly bills are due monthly, but when I get an extra paycheck that month, there's a little bit extra to spread around. And so I had one of those in November, which meant that I was able to pay all my bills just like I usually do, and have a little bit left over. And that paid for Christmas. That got Christmas presents for everyone, or, for the Secret Santa and the significant other and things like that. And it had a little bit left over, and I used the last of that, talked about it a week or two ago, to buy some lights for the recording setup, because I needed some lights, and I bought them used, and they weren't super expensive or anything, thankfully. That was like 140, I think, in total. Anyway, that basically tapped me out, right? That was kind of the end of it. What was left over after that was, like less than $100 for just, like, whoops, I spent a little extra on groceries. I try to always, or, gas or something, I try to always keep that. But to me, when I look at that, I go, I have no money. Again, you see the theme there. So technically a little left over, but, just in case I need something, I try not to use it for anything. And so I consider myself to be tapped out. Now, I talked about, I do have something else coming in today, and there's a whole purchase for all of it there. When I got the lights, I talked about the other thing that I was purchasing here, and I was waiting until I actually got the money, but I got impatient, and realistically, same thing with the credit card thing, it's not due until next month, so I cashed out my PTO, my paid time off. I accrue that throughout the year, and I'm using some of it. I'm using about not quite half for this week right now. That's why I'm out on a Friday and out on a Wednesday. I'm on vacation. This is how I'm spending my vacation. Half vacation is video games, the other half is shooting and editing and things like that. So I'm cashing out, which means that I will get, effectively an extra paycheck and then some, which is nice. Just on top of normal things as it is. And I'm using that money because we're not getting a Christmas bonus or anything. Sales are down. It's not happening. And I still want to buy things, and I've earned that money, and I don't plan on taking another vacation. So as long as I don't get sick and have to miss work, should be fine, which I don't foresee happening, thankfully. But you can't really plan for stuff like that. So here's hoping. It's a little gamble, but it should be fine, right? So I'm cashing out that, and that'll give me close to about $600. And I talked about the other week. Well, that's a nice little place to pull over. That's not officially a park or anything, but there's a little spot back there with a picnic table and stuff, as far as I understand. The Roosevelt National Forest here. Anyway, so wow, look at that, the way it's opening up. That's cool. So that $600 is turning into a new lav mic for about $250, some accessories, and another microphone for the recording setup. I wanted something different and better. I haven't bought a new microphone for that in a long time, and I've had my eye on one for a while, and it just kind of lined up, and I had the money and went, where best could this be used? It's not, $600 isn't enough to buy me like a whole new lens or, another camera body or anything like that. So where best could that go? Well, it could go towards the audio, since the audio somewhat suffers and could be better, and I have the money for that. So that's where that is going. And then I got the cash, I got the card on Wednesday, actually, and I started thinking about it and going, well, now, where could this money go towards? What could this be for? And I start thinking and looking, trying to figure out, because, again, it's not like it's enough to buy anything major. It's just, $400 is not nothing. It's certainly nothing to sneeze at, but it's not camera money. It's not lens money. It's nothing like that. It is specifically, what can I get for this amount? And I'm thinking about it and trying to think of where, what could it be best to spend on. And I finally landed up on something that I typically wouldn't, I've had my eye on for quite a while, and that is specific. It's for when I'm editing. It is a little keyboard. Well, actually, I was looking at the full-size keyboard. They make a keyboard. The company that makes the cameras that I use, not the Sony, but Blackmagic, They have their own editing software called DaVinci Resolve. And I've gotten used to it. I really like it. It's actually the best editing software that I've ever used over my many years of various video editing. And they make their own keyboard that has all their shortcuts built in. It's got some useful functions there to kind of speed up the process. But one of the most important things is it's got a little scroll wheel on it. And I can show you more at home when I have it and things like that. But specifically, this little wheel is really useful for going through timelines. It's useful for color grading. It's audio levels, things like it. I plan on getting quite a bit of use out of it, and I think it's going to be really useful. I've used wheels like that before on light boards when I used to do theater lighting. They would have something, especially the moving lights and stuff like that. The old style was literally just buttons. I don't even remember if there were arrow keys, but when they started, I've worked with some light boards that have that kind of scroll wheel, and it's really useful when it comes to things and fine tuning. So seeing that was really useful. The full-size keyboard's like $600, and that I originally went, yeah, that's what I want. That'll help me. That's exactly. And I look into a bit more, and again, I'm now going, well, I only have 400, and I'm trying to go, I could pull 200 from savings. I could do that, and then I go and I look at the keyboard again because I'm now in shopping mode. I'm in, is this the best use of my money? And that becomes a whole agonizing process where I'm just like analyzing and overanalyzing and looking and trying to figure out all the pros and cons and all this stuff, and that's me. But looking through this, I realized that a while ago, I actually looked over this full keyboard and decided this won't be more useful than what it's a full-size keyboard. It's got all the stuff, and it's all programmed for the macros or shortcut buttons. But those keyboard shortcuts are already built into normal keyboards, and I've already learned how to do all this editing on a normal keyboard. And so realistically, what am I saving? Like looking at it and going, the kind of editing that I do, I'm not a professional or anything. I'm not editing huge amounts of tons of stuff. I hate editing as it is, just to be fair. I really don't enjoy it. So what I'm doing is just trying to ease up on this process and make it a little bit easier. But to get through that, like, it's missing a backspace key. Backspace is super important, not just for editing, but like using as a full keyboard. So it's missing a few key functions in those ways. Realistically, I would not be able to replace my current keyboard. It would have to be off to the side, and I would have to swap them for editing. And it's like, okay, that's not super useful. Really, what I want is the scroll wheel and a couple of those shortcut buttons, and that's what this little one will have. And that's $400. Perfect. That'll do it. I can still use my normal keyboard because realistically, I'm saving like, I don't know, not much. Now, I think it's a one-way. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a right here. We're going to come here. We're going to yield because I think they have the right of way. Oh, look at that little car. I don't quite know what that is. Maybe I can get behind you and see. I've been playing a racing game, and so now I'm in car mode. But I did this earlier because I missed the road and the whole thing. I think if I go down, let's go down another one. I don't want to turn there. I want to go one more over. They're doing a bunch of construction. This isn't quite the pretty scene, but it's on the other street that we're about to go on. If I can get to there, if they haven't closed down access to turn onto that road. Get through here. I guess I could have gone there. It's okay. We'll go down here and we'll take a left and we'll turn around and go back. We'll go down here. Take a left. That will be nice with the sun. We'll just take a couple extra minutes. All right, you're sitting waiting. I appreciate that. I will just doop. That's a cool little pink building, pink and blue antique store maybe. Turn around in a taco restaurant. Oh, you know what? I can just scoot around here and come out here. And we'll go through the town again, down Main Street. Hopefully it'll be as pretty during the day. Because I'm pretty sure it's a one-way. And that's why we had to do a little around. Get in the left lane. So this is where I came through at like 5 a.m. and it said, come up here and take a left, and I wasn't sure exactly where. You're stopping, thank you. You were not looking like you were going to. and then you come over here, and it was all of a sudden, basically on this light, it's Christmas lights everywhere. And I started driving down going, oh, I think it's right after this light. Well, we're coming to a stop anyway for the stoplight. So yeah, that basically right ahead of us was this little strip. It's this little town here. I think it's Lyons, Lyons, Colorado. And it just this little old-fashioned kind of, downtown area on Main Street, and everything was all lit up. You can't really tell. It's still cute, and it's still nice to look at, but all of I don't know if you can see, there are little white balls in the trees and everything. It was all lit up. It definitely would be better. I don't expect to be coming back here, at least not to this spot. Maybe further in the mountains or somewhere else, but this is kind of just where it's at. So here's what we're gonna do. Coming to a stop here and wait for the car to go, and wait for those cars. So anyway, that was it. I thought that might be neat. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, because the Christmas lights are no longer up and going, but it's a nice little town. These are the kind of little quiet mountain towns, right? To quote South Park, that I would more or less happily live in. Yeah, and this is what I did this morning. I made the turn and didn't realize I needed to immediately jump lanes because of the construction that they're doing. So I wound up going back through this. I did it twice, and that made me go, oh, you know what? It is really pretty here at 5 a.m. when it's all dark and you see the Christmas lights all lit up their Main Street downtown area. So anyway, that's that, and that's my plan. I got to go way back to civilization, back to Denver, where I actually live, and go to the bank and drop off some money, do a deposit, and yeah, that's what I gotta do. I gotta go deposit money so I can pay for the little editing keyboard, and hopefully, I was gonna edit yesterday. My plan was kind of during this time period to windshield, to shoot one day, edit the next day, so I don't create a backlog. And then Wednesday I went out, and Wednesday's when I decided that what I would be getting for the finally spending the Christmas cash. Once I decided that, and I figured out that's what I was going to do, Thursday rolls around, and I went, I don't feel like editing. I want to wait until I want to start playing with my new toy, right? See if I can make the process of editing a bit smoother. It's going to be a learning curve for me to break out from just mouse and keyboard to like mouse, keyboard, and a little scroll wheel and some shortcut buttons. But it should hopefully speed up the process a little bit. It should give me a bit finer control, and I will hopefully dislike editing just slightly less. If I can make it just a little. I don't think it's ever realistically going to get to the point where I'm like, yeah, editing. I just don't really enjoy it. I do enjoy the going out and the doing stuff. But anyway, that's what I got to talk about. That's what's going on. Some depositing of cash, some little quiet mountain town, some driving around. I need to find a spot to pull over when we get a little less busy, and put in the directions to the Bank of Michael. That's what they call it. Nope. I don't own a bank at all. I don't have anything to do with it. Do they have gas? That would say, I don't know. It's like a small N, big C. I wonder what that means. Never seen that before. Anyway, that's what I got. This is my Friday morning out. Just driving, doing the thing, doing the wildlife thing. Even though I didn't see any wildlife out, I will hopefully make it out on Sunday and maybe go somewhere different and see something different. That is my hope for then. But until then, this has been a little mountain drive, little money talk, little personal vlog. Well, it needs to end, but the lane ends. The lane and the episode are ending, and the road is speeding up, and I need to be careful and cautious about what it is I'm doing here, because I am driving a motor vehicle at highway speeds. Go under this little bridge. Am I keeping this in or does this get cut out? Welcome to bonus content. Welcome to bonus. I don't want to start fiddling with recording equipment while I'm driving. Where's the next crossroad? Where can I turn safely? I'd rather not make a left if I can avoid it. That'll just slow everything down. I'd rather just do the next available right turn, and I'm sure that will be coming up soon. And my neck is getting warm because I put on the neck warmer today. And let's not turn into somebody's house, though. That would not be ideal. I think it would be much better if we found a road that I could go down that wasn't so busy. I guess you're getting to see more of the countryside. This is you had mountains 5 seconds ago, and then you come out and it's just big plains everywhere, and that's Colorado from my understanding. And from what I'm witnessing and seeing. That's Colorado. It's been an interesting experience between trying to find more forests where there are birds and things like that, and not quite so much big and open. Watch for wildlife. I always do. Look, there's water. Water's there. People are going out to fish, maybe. There's somebody parked there. If there were multiple spots along there, that wouldn't be so bad. I could have turned there, I suppose, but wasn't quite prepared for it. Or there, I suppose. Boy, now you deal with indecision about where to turn. Lovely. I see a stop sign up ahead. I see that. This doesn't really give me a turn lane here, but oh, that's a little harsher than I thought. There we go. All right, there we go. We're off the main road onto a little side road with some pretty houses, people who have farmland. When I was driving back on Wednesday, driving past people who have their house on the farmland. People have horses there. That's what I saw. I saw horses out with their jackets, keep them warm in the cold. And I thought that was cute. And then I go a little further on, another 15, 20 minutes I'm driving, and I see another farm where somebody's got horses and they had a younger foal. Oh, look at the doggies over there. Foal, not fowl. A younger horse who was rolling on its back. It was cute. Oh, look, I came to the water anyway. I hadn't planned on that. I don't think you can see it because maybe if it's off to the side. I can't. I'm not going to mess with the GoPro. Anyway, I'm going down here until I find a good spot to turn around that's not somebody's front yard, I think. Oh, look, there are birds. There's geese on the water. Geese on the water. The fire and the skies. That's not how it... Okay. And here was the other entrance that How about that? Let's just go all the way down to where those people were getting ready to fish, and we'll turn around there, turn off all the camera stuff, put in the directions, and continue on about my day. Here's a spot to turn around right here. I don't have to go all the way down. Perfect. There's the end of the video.